Alright, let's dive into something that not everyone talks about, but we need to. If you've ever felt like you were different, like you were destined for something bigger, you may have found yourself facing challenges that most people don't understand. Being chosen is not a glamorous title, despite what many might think. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about carrying a responsibility that can sometimes feel like it's too much to bear. And I know I felt it too. The weight of knowing that you're here for a higher purpose, that there's something you're meant to do, can be intense. But there's a reason why you're chosen, and there are ways to survive and even thrive through the challenges that come with it. So, let's talk about the first way to survive the challenges of being a chosen one: accepting your purpose. Now, this might sound simple, but it's one of the hardest steps. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself doubting that you're even chosen? How many times have you wondered if all of those signs, synchronicities, and intuitive feelings are just your imagination? It's normal to question it. Being chosen doesn't come with a clear user manual. There's no step-by-step guide that tells you exactly what to do, but at some point, you have to stop second-guessing yourself. You have to stop waiting for some cosmic neon sign to appear with your name on it. The truth is, if you feel it in your soul, if you keep getting pulled toward a higher path, it's because you're meant to be on that path. But here's the thing. Accepting your purpose means accepting all of it. It means accepting the fact that sometimes you'll be misunderstood. Sometimes the people closest to you won't get it. They might even doubt you. They might say things like, "Who do you think you are?" or "What makes you so special?" And that's tough, isn't it? When the people you care about don't see what you see, it can make you question everything. But here's where the wisdom comes in. Being chosen isn't about them. It's about you. It's about the agreement your soul made before you even came into this lifetime. And while it's nice to have support, you don't need anyone else's approval to walk your path.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
So, let me ask you, have you accepted your purpose? Truly accepted it? Or are you still waiting for someone or something outside of yourself to validate it? Because survival begins with acceptance, and the moment you fully accept that you were chosen, everything changes. You stop looking for external validation and you start trusting yourself. You start trusting that the universe wouldn't have given you this purpose if you weren't ready for it. Next, let's talk about the second way to survive: embracing solitude. This is another big one, and it's something that can be incredibly uncomfortable at first. As a chosen one, there will be times when you feel isolated. There will be moments when you feel like no one understands what you're going through. And while that can feel lonely, it's actually a necessary part of the journey. Solitude is where you grow. It's where you connect with your higher self. It's where you receive the guidance and downloads that you can't get when you're constantly surrounded by other people's energy. But here's the tricky part. We live in a world where being alone is often seen as something negative. We're told that we should always be social, always be connected, always be doing something with someone. And if we're alone, something must be wrong, right? Wrong. As a chosen one, solitude isn't just a luxury. It's a necessity. It's in those quiet moments that you can hear the whispers of your soul. It's in silence that you can reconnect with your true purpose. Now, I'm not saying you need to isolate yourself completely or become a hermit, but I am saying that you need to learn to appreciate and embrace those moments of solitude. Instead of seeing them as a time of loneliness, see them as a time of deep connection with yourself and the universe. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly sat in silence, without distractions, and just listened to your inner voice? Because survival as a chosen one means getting comfortable with your own company. It means finding peace in the quiet moments, even when the rest of the world is moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour. The third way to survive the challenges of being a chosen one is trusting the process. This is where a lot of people get stuck, even those who know they're chosen. Because the truth is, the journey of a chosen one isn't always clear. It's not always linear. There will be times when you feel lost. There will be times when things don't make sense. And there will definitely be times when you feel like giving up. But here's the secret. The process is the path. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of confusion is part of your growth. It's all leading you somewhere, even if you can't see it in the moment. Think about it. How many times have you looked back on a difficult period in your life and realized that it was exactly what you needed to go through to become who you are today? How many times have you gone through something that felt impossible at the time, only to emerge on the other side with more strength, more wisdom, and more clarity? That's the process at work. And as a chosen one, your process might be more intense than others. You might face bigger challenges, deeper wounds, and more profound transformations. But that's because you're being prepared for something greater. So let me ask you, are you trusting the process? Or are you resisting it? Because resistance only makes the journey harder. When you trust the process, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't understand it, you allow the universe to guide you. You allow the lessons to unfold in their own time, and that trust is what allows you to survive the challenges of being a chosen one. Let's continue on this journey, because now things are about to get even more real. We've talked about accepting your purpose, embracing solitude, and trusting the process. But what happens when the darkness comes? Because it will come. Being a chosen one isn't all light and love. In fact, one of the biggest challenges you'll face is confronting the darkness, both within yourself and in the world around you. Now, when I say darkness, I'm not talking about some external evil force that's out to get you. I'm talking about the shadows that exist within every one of us. The fears, the doubts, the insecurities, the parts of ourselves that we'd rather not look at. As a chosen one, you're going to be asked to face those shadows head on. You're going to be asked to heal parts of yourself that most people never even acknowledge. And that's hard, it's painful, but it's also necessary. The fourth way to survive the challenges of being a chosen one is embracing your resilience. Because here's the truth, you are resilient. If you weren't, you wouldn't have been chosen. The universe doesn't make mistakes. You've been given this path because you have the strength to walk it. But resilience isn't about never falling down. It's about getting back up every time you do. It's about knowing that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you have the power to rise again. But here's the thing, resilience doesn't mean pretending everything is fine when it's not. It doesn't mean pushing your emotions aside or acting like you're invincible. True resilience comes from allowing yourself to feel everything, the pain, the fear, the doubt, and still choosing to keep going. It's about acknowledging the darkness without letting it consume you. So, let me ask you, how do you deal with your shadows? Do you try to ignore them, hoping they'll go away on their own? Or do you face them head-on, knowing that every time you confront them, you're becoming stronger? Because resilience isn't about avoiding the darkness. It's about learning how to navigate it. It's about learning how to find the light, even in the darkest of times. And that brings me to another important point, asking for help. As a chosen one, it can be easy to feel like you have to do everything on your own. After all, you're the one who's been given this path, right? But here's the truth. You're not meant to do it all alone. There are people, guides, and even spiritual forces that are here to support you, but you have to be willing to ask for help. You have to be willing to admit when you're struggling, when you're feeling lost, or when the weight of the world feels too heavy to carry. Asking for help doesn't make you weak. In fact, it makes you stronger. It shows that you're willing to be vulnerable, that you're willing to admit that you don't have all the answers. And that's okay. No one expects you to have all the answers, not even the universe, but the universe does expect you to be open to receiving the support and guidance that's available to you. Have you ever noticed that when you finally let go of the need to do everything on your own, things start to flow more easily? Have you ever experienced that moment when you finally ask for help and suddenly the answers you've been searching for just appear? That's not a coincidence. That's the power of surrender. That's the power of resilience. Now that we've explored the challenges of being a chosen one, let's talk about the final and perhaps most important aspect of survival, stepping into your power. Because here's the truth. You weren't chosen just to survive. You were chosen to thrive. You were chosen to step into your full potential and share your gifts with the world. But that can't happen if you're constantly playing small or hiding from who you really are. Stepping into your power means owning your gifts. It means recognizing that you have something valuable to offer, even if the world doesn't always see it. It means trusting that the universe didn't make a mistake when it chose you. You were chosen for a reason, but in order to step into that power, you have to be willing to let go of the fear of judgment. You have to be willing to let go of the need for external validation, because honestly, not everyone is going to understand your path, and that's okay. Not everyone is ready to see the world the way you see it. Not everyone is ready to awaken to the higher truths that you've been called to share, but that doesn't mean you should hold back. In fact, it means you should shine even brighter, because the world needs your light. The world needs your wisdom, and the world needs you to step into your power fully without apology. But here's where it gets deep. What's really holding you back from stepping into your power? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the belief that you're not good enough, not ready, not worthy? Because those are the shadows that will keep you from fully embracing your purpose. And as long as you let those shadows control you, you'll never be able to step into the fullness of who you are. So let me ask you, are you ready to step into your power? Are you ready to embrace the fact that you were chosen for a reason? And that reason is bigger than your fears, bigger than your doubts, and bigger than the limitations you've placed on yourself. Because the moment you decide to fully embrace who you are, everything changes. The moment you let go of the need to fit in or be understood, you become unstoppable. And here's the final piece of wisdom I want to leave you with. Being chosen isn't about being perfect. It's not about having all the answers or never making mistakes. It's about being willing to grow, to evolve, and to continue learning along the way. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. It's about trusting that you are exactly where you're meant to be, even when the path ahead isn't clear. So, what are you going to do with this power? How are you going to step into your role as a chosen one? Because the world is waiting. Your purpose is waiting. And the only thing standing between you and the life you are meant to live is the decision to fully embrace who you are. This is your awakening. This is your time to rise. The challenges of being a chosen one are real, but so is the power you've been given to overcome them. So step into it, embrace it, and watch how your life transforms when you fully accept the gift of being chosen.